Greetings from the Johnson Sports Center. I'm Sports Information Director Mike Stetson. I want to thank you for joining us for another edition of the Crusader Coaches Corner Show. This week on the show, we're talking basketball with Crusader men's player Pol Olivier. And we talked some track and field with head coach John Spatz, whose team was in action over the weekend on a busy winter indoor track and field season. I want to thank you for joining us, and now it's time for this week's edition of the Coaches Corner Show. Welcome to this week's Coaches Show. Today we're joined by men's basketball player Pol Olivier. Pol, appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much.
First off, I want to talk about how the team's doing. Got a big road win this past week. Talk about Thursday night's game. It looked like you guys gutted it out.
Finally, we get the first road win. It was really good to get this first win against St. Martin's. I think we came out really strong. We've been practicing really hard for the week, and I think the win was deserved. We just hit a lot of threes. It was good. It was a good night for us, and it feels really good to have the first road win.
Coach has been talking about the shots not falling during that little lull that we had. What was it that changed Thursday night? Because you guys were on fire, 15 three-pointers in the game.
Yes, probably because, we talked before, the week before, just practicing, you just need to focus more, try to be more focused during this, the shooting practice, the shoot-arounds, and I think that's the mentality that changed, and everyone was more excited. And when the first, the second, the third one gets in, then just everyone is just get up, and just everything is falling, so it was good for us.
And the team has seemed different the last 2 weeks. Had a couple of bad games against Central and Western Oregon, but then you guys have completely changed things against Billings and then St. Martin's. Yeah. What's the difference?
I think the difference, maybe, I know it's hard to lose games and being in, in these kind of losing streaks, but that also helps to, we need to change. We need to make, something different. And that's maybe what these losses help us to make us more focused, make us practice harder, and just trust each other, play more together, and that's maybe one of the big differences that we saw in the last games. We started really good against St. Martin's, then SPU maybe we came back a little bit, but I think we know that the way, we know the way that we need to play to win the game, so I think we need to just keep going and keep practicing hard.
Talking about winning games, you got two that are big ones coming up. Thursday night against Western Washington. People might not know, looking at the standings, but a good weekend, you guys could be tied for 6th with Western Washington and in the playoff mix.
No, I think it's a really, really important week for us here in the JSC. I think play home is where we feel more comfortable. I think that we are much more motivated to play in front of our fans, in front of our people that we know, and yeah, it's a really huge win, really huge week. I think if we just came up really mentally ready, and just from the beginning, we don't have to wait. We just kind of play hard from the beginning. I think we have a pretty good chance to be there and try to fight for the playoffs. Yeah.
Any idea what you guys need to do to beat Western?
Well, I know that Western, they have been really good for all the years, and well, we just gotta, just as I said, kind of really focus mentally, and just came out from the beginning. We can just fall asleep, because if we're not ready from the beginning and we just kind of sleep in the first 5 minutes, then it's gonna be tough to be behind all the time and then try to make the comeback. That's what's been happening, We are there trying to make the comebacks, but then it's maybe too late at the end of the game. You just gotta play hard from the beginning, and then we can. I think we will show what we got in as a team. So that will help us.
Been with the team now 3 years. You've made the transition from freshman, where you were just getting a couple minutes, to now I think you're averaging about 19, 20 minutes a game. How has the development for you been coming over, playing American basketball, and your time here?
Well, my freshman year, it was completely different basketball, being away from home. I think that was kind of hard. But as I said from the first time I came here, I think NNU everyone opened their arms to me, and it's like my second family. So since the first moment I came here, I felt really, really good. That really helps to me. And basketball-wise, yeah, I mean, the transition from Europe to American basketball is kind of hard because it's like more physical, more like kind of faster, but you just get too used to it. My freshman year was kind of tough. Well, not that tough. I mean, it was good to start learning the new philosophy, and since that, like I think I've been growing. I've been like improving every year, and it's been like really, really great.
What would you say would be the toughest thing to transition on the court for you coming from Europe to America?
Well, I think the speed of the game. I just remember my first game here. My first game here it was like the first 2 or 3 possessions. I was like kind of exhausted. Like, what's going on? Like, it's just up down, up down. But yeah, I think that was the hardest part. Then maybe there's like really huge guys, like it's kind of physical. But once you get at the same level, it's just perfect. You compete and it's good.
How about away from the court? What was the toughest thing to transition to?
Away from the court, obviously, is the language. I mean, I wasn't really, really good at my language, and well, I think I have to thanks to my like roommates, my teammates. They always like, even if they make fun a little bit of me sometimes, they always help me a lot. And the professors always like understand that I'm an international player. They're trying to help me all they can. Just if we're in the road or we are in class, if I don't understand anything, just repeat it or just gonna help me on the side. So it's just, I'm really thankful for that, and I think like since these 3 years, I mean, my English has been improving a lot, and it's been like more like much better. But yeah, that's kind of like the things.
I think you're going to be one of the more unique international players. Your dad has got to see you freshman year, sophomore year, here at the JSC, spend a little time with you.
Yeah.
Will he get to come this season? And how nice is it that you get to see family and they get to see you play in person?
Well, my family is the biggest support I have, and even they are not here, my dad is always watching me, like streaming. It's like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., but he's always there. I really appreciate that. And then when he comes and visits me, surprise me, and it's always like an honor to have him in the stands and just cheer for me. And it's like extra motivation, extra plus. This Christmas my girlfriend came, and it was like this extra plus that made me like play much better. And yeah, like it's just this support is like really good for me, and much more if I'm like away from home. So
your dad surprised you? You didn't even know he was coming?
Well, my sophomore year, he surprised me. Yeah, like I mean, it wasn't that good because they had planned it with coaches because he wanted to surprise me for the homecoming game. But then he lost the baggage and everything, and finally I had to like the surprise was in the airport, but still the same. I was really happy.
That's pretty cool. Now you're also a third-year international player, and the team has so many guys. Gonza's from Spain, Carlos from Spain, Nick, Marco. All of these international players. You have the experience. Are you kind of a mentor to these guys? Do you tell them what to expect on the court and off?
Well, for example, with Carlos, it's a big example. It was my sophomore year when he came, when they recruit him, and I talked with him so much before he came here. I talked about how was the school, how was basketball, how were the coaches, and I think like he really trusts my words to come here. That's why he's here right now, and I think like I can be like kind of mentor. I try to show like how's everything, like try to make them comfortable, and I think that's all like Matty did to me because I came from the same academy. He was a mentor for me, so I try to be an example for them. So yeah, try to help them and just be there for them, like they are for me. So
Now you room with Mike Wright from Canada, Buna Njai from Norway, and then Pol from Spain. So what is the house language when you guys are at home?
Well, the house language is English, obviously, because if not, there's no way we can understand each other. But I mean, I'm really thankful for living with them. Like, personally, they've been like, I don't know, it's just like brothers, and they help me for wherever. Like, I can trust them and I can call them for everything. And it's just like, I mean, this year I think is one of the best years I've been like living. I mean, I've been really good in the dorms and with all the other like people from NNU. But this year, I don't know, it's just kind of making this like friendship more closer, and I'm really happy. And I think next year I'm gonna live with Buna too. So just looking forward to it.
You have one more season after this. What do you think you're going to be doing when you finish your time at NNU? Will it be basketball? Will you stay in the States? Will it just be going on to a career?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to just graduate, get my major, which is really important. And then, I mean, my dream is always try to play basketball, try to become a pro. And I mean, I'm gonna try to pursue it, I think, I don't know, in Spain or around Europe. We'll see what are the options, and if not, just like try to get a job of my major or help my dad with the family business that we have over there, and just try to help him too. We'll see what. I don't know sure what I'm gonna do, but just I have some different options that when the time comes, I will just look at it.
Family business we should mention, it's ice cream. Well, gelato, not really ice cream, gelato.
Yeah.
The Spanish family selling Italian ice cream.
Well, it's because, well, my dad is Italian. My dad's family is from Italy, and they immigrated to Tarragona, which is my city, and my grandpa opened the first ice cream shop. And my dad actually studied what I'm studying, but he decided to follow like the business family, which is ice cream. And right now we have 3 ice cream shops, and we have a factory that we sell to different restaurants, hotels around the area, and it's been successful. So yeah, it's good.
I want to tell fans we're working on getting a gelato, Olivier gelato place here in Nampa. So hopefully that'll happen. Maybe we can keep Pol here.
That will be good.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us,
Thank
Pol.
you so much, Mike.
Good luck this week. Want to remind fans, Thursday night, Treasure Valley School Night. Come on out to the game, cheer the guys on. Big game against Western Washington. Saturday night against Simon Fraser. It's Alumni Appreciation Night. Be sure to get tickets for both games and come cheer the guys on to a victory.
Come here and support us.
Welcome back. We are joined by head track and field coach John Spatz, whose team was in action this past weekend and had a couple of really nice marks coming off a long break. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Great to be here. Thanks, Mike.
Well, let's talk about what we saw this weekend. Peyton had a great week. Taylor in the shot. The hurdlers. Across the board, there was some nice times, some nice marks for coming back after Christmas.
Yeah, it was nice to get back from the break and find out who'd been naughty and who'd been nice as far as working out, and we definitely saw some of that. So there's a little bit of rust on the machinery, but some great performances. You know, Peyton's first HEP of the year, within 100 points, I think, of what he scored last year toward the end. So that was encouraging. And then, the hurdlers and sprinters really, kind of getting on the board and putting up some good marks for this early, and knowing that hopefully, we'll be better in a month. with practice and some more meets and things, so to kind of sharpen up. But yeah, it was a really good start to the weekend, and I think most of the coaches and most of the students were pretty pleased where they came back.
You mentioned some of the sprinters hadn't had a real chance to gauge the team because most of the teams hadn't put up times or been to meets until this weekend. And now we see Lexi Tubbs came out third in the conference in the hurdles. Kyle, I think he was fifth. And then some of the sprinters, Zach, Amy, some of them mixed in the twos and the fours nicely in that around that 10 range. So looked like it was a good start, a good way to judge how good the team's doing.
Yeah, that was exactly right. Yeah, just be able to see some of those people put up marks that are, in the top 4 or 5, or maybe even the top 10 in the conference right now, with most teams having competed now a couple weekends. Yeah, we weren't the only team in December ruling the GNAC list and the TFER, so it was kind of fun though, got some good stuff out of it. But yeah, now the indoor season really begins in earnest, and people will be getting after it a lot harder and competing in events that are their normal, regular strengths. So the same was true for us. Yeah, everybody was kind of in the areas that we're going to look for them to qualify for conference and get ready for the meet here in February. So yeah, it was a good start across the board. From I think we had almost 60 some athletes in action. So the majority of our team was all in. So that's good.
Some surprises that you saw? Anybody that did better than you thought and has suddenly hit your radar, and while they may be doing well at the conference meet?
Yeah, I think the performances really across the board for the most part were, kind of the ones you expected. Some of our top kids did what they should be doing probably because they're experienced, and even though they haven't got too many meets in, but. Yeah, some of our freshmen, I think for sure. Some of the ones I noticed were Shaylee Siegfried in the 60-meter dash. She's a volleyball. We love our two-sport athletes here at NNU, obviously, and she's run really well in the 60 the last 2 meets. So it's great to have her with us full time now. And Miranda Hagedorn is a local product. She's throwing the shot and the weight and the weight throw. She's going to be a great hammer thrower outdoors. She's picked up the weight and the hammer technique, which is about as technical as pole vault, as good as I've ever seen any freshman that I've coached in a long time. So she's already 3-turning. The more she figures it out, just the better she's going to be. So it's fun to see those kind of kids stepping into the limelight and going, yeah, I know a Division II track at NNU's about, and looks like they'll help the team in the long run. So. Those two for sure were some of the ones I noticed. I know we have some other freshmen that have stepped up, and Jordan Morris, for example, in the long jump, she's right at 17 feet knocking on the door. She did her first multi this weekend, and a little bit of room to improve, so I'm glad we didn't hit all of our top end marks quite yet. I think we'll be ready though when the time comes.
How nice is it, you mentioned Miranda in doing the weight throw, how she has high expectations in the hammer. How much does it benefit those newcomers to have the indoor season, to get to compete, to get to have that positive feedback on the track and in competition before stepping outside and doing more events?
Indoor for us is really, I've always looked at it, my whole coaching career is it's its own season, but it's a very important season for development. Fall, you get a chance to get to know your kids, and you get to put some basics, and some conditioning on them. And then kind of the test is indoor. You get to see how they handle competition, back-to-back, 4 or 5 weekends in a row for the most part. And then that's so valuable going into outdoor. They have 3 or 4 high school track seasons and a college track season. So that kind of development is really important, getting ready for that next outdoor season. We'll have a break, of 3 weeks or so, and we'll transition to those outdoor events. But it's great to be able to see them in action during indoor, because you can really help them develop, I feel like, if you're paying attention. And kids realize that. Indoor is a little tough on them because it's a lot of pounding and a really condensed, it's short, fast, and kind of furious. And then outdoor, kind of more of a rhythm and time to get ready for the championships in May. So, but it's great. I love indoor. Coach Ainsworth, he says, hey, as soon as indoor's over, great. So even on our coaching staff, we have different opinions on what's the purpose of indoor, but I think for our student athletes, it's a huge benefit to have indoor. I'd be sad. There's schools in the Northwest that don't do indoor track and field, and gosh, I just can't imagine. I mean, there's some logistical things that why they don't, but I'm so happy we do, and I think it's a huge benefit to the school and to our student athletes especially.
You mentioned how short, how fast, and how intense the season is. This coming weekend is the halfway point, the third meet of 5-meet season before the championship.
Yeah.
So where are the kids? I know this is about the time you start hammering them a little bit, push them hard, get that last final real little bit of everything you can out of them before you taper for the championships.
That's exactly right. They got a welcome back from Christmas break last week workout that lasted the whole week, so we hammered them pretty darn hard, I know, across the board. And then this week we'll probably the same, pretty close to the same level, a lot of volume, a lot of intensity, and then we have to start thinking about, okay, a little bit of rest, a little bit of giving them some time to absorb what we're putting into them, and then it's you rest and you peak and you get ready for the GNAC Indoor Championship. So yeah, about one more week, maybe a couple extra days on that of going hard, and then we'll start resting them and giving them some time to really, as much as you can peak during an indoor season in that short amount of time. We'll give them a shot at peaking and see if we can hit some NCAA marks and get ready for the championships and see what we can do. But yeah, it's kind of a crazy season, really.
Noticed one thing in the first couple meets, we haven't seen a lot of the distance runners yet. Will we be seeing more of them? I know Jake was giving them some time off after cross country where they get pounded pretty hard. Will we be seeing them maybe this week and then in the coming weeks looking to get some of those top marks?
Yeah, I think, they had a long cross-country season in the fall and through the regional championships, almost to December. And then, a trip to Kenya for a lot of them in between, which was just an incredible trip for them, and some time off as well. And now they'll start coming back and competing in their normal, 800-mile or 3,000, 5K. We'll start to see them in action pretty much every weekend now as they try and hit some qualifiers and get ready. So, yeah. I was talking to the boys' state coach, same thing. They had a great cross-country season over on their side, and same thing now. They're starting to put their distance athletes into the mix, and we ask a lot of those distance kids, really, fairly or unfairly. I don't know. You might ask them; they might not say the same thing I do, but they give so much to our team because they have 3 full seasons, cross-country, indoor, and outdoor, and so we ask a lot of them, and they really deliver. 9 times out of 10, and I love that group for what they bring. Yeah, they're such a huge part of what we do. So it'll be exciting to see them in action, get the Isaac Mitchells and some of our top athletes, and Chase Cunningham. And then we've got some really good girls too. So I'm looking forward to see the Manzer sisters in action again. After this weekend, they ran well, and then some of our senior girls too that are ready to go. So it should be an exciting time to get the full team going and everybody contributing. So.
I want to remind fans the Crusaders back in action this weekend. Bronco Invitational, I believe, is this weekend's meet. Saturday over at the Idaho Center's Jackson's track here in Nampa. Come on out, cheer these guys on. They do an incredible job, and every weekend you're going to see some GNAC champions out there putting on a show for you, some national All-Americans, everything. The most successful program in terms of the championships, All-Americans, and everything like that. So come out and support track and field. I guess some of them are cross-country runners.
They consider themselves that, yeah, so it's good.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
The Crusader women were at home for a pair of GNAC contests, hosting the Alaska schools over the weekend. Thursday night, NNU picked up a 74-57 victory over Alaska, led by Ellie Logan, who had 10 points and 10 rebounds, and McKenna Walker, shown here, who had 12 points in the win. Saturday, number 2 ranked Alaska Anchorage scored a 95-71 win over the Crusaders. Ellie Logan had 20 points in the game for the Crusaders, and Taylor Simmons, shown here, tossed in 12 points for NNU. Also in action were the Crusader track and field teams. Some of the highlights from the weekend included a second-place finish for Sierra Manzier in 10 minutes 39.04 seconds in the 3,000. Also, Kyle McLaughlin, shown here, took 4th in the 60-meter hurdles in 8.57 seconds. Also, Peyton Lewis hit a national provisional mark in the heptathlon with 4,936 points.